Hello everybody, this is Ken Faulkner, bringing to you another knife video. It's an oddity for me. I had the box here and I did the video, and my brain is not too sharp today. I'm kind of lazy. It's Sunday, I'm not doing too much, and it just felt like I could do better. So anyway, I got the zero tolerance 02. Let me double check because my brain's not working. It's the 0203. I've never been good at remembering these number type names. This is the one that came out. You've probably seen it a lot already. I just recently got this on the secondary market, and I've wanted to get it, but with zero tolerance, it's been kind of like that. For some reason, it's a brand. I had this one. I bought this one years ago. This is the 0562 tie. Really nice. 20 CV, nothing to complain about. Great action. Well, there is one thing, is that these things that look like thumb studs, but there are faux thumb studs, and they're really just external blade stops. But otherwise, I love this knife. This is the one I've carried to all the blade shows since the very first one I went to, because it's just a really great knife. So this is the only zero tolerance I've had in my collection for a long time, and then I finally got an opportunity to pick this one up, and yeah, I decided to go ahead and do it, and I'm happy I did. Now it's bigger than I expected. You can see the difference in the knives here. So just pivot to pivot, definitely bigger. So let's look at the sizes on this 0203. We're going overall with about 9 1/8. 9 1/8. And the blade length is about maybe 4 inches if you go from this point that sticks out the most. The cutting edge is right around 4 if you really kind of curve around, because it does have that big belly. I like the shape. I do like a good point that's out in front. With the sheep's foot and stuff like that, where they drop down low, it's very convenient for most of the cutting tool tasks you're going to do. But it's like a knife, just in my mind, the concept of a knife, it has an edge and a point, and those are both have their purposes. And obviously you're going to have to lift up a little bit higher in order to get utility cuts, but this is not exactly your utility cutting tool. It's just a big guy. It's got some weight to it. This one's not exactly light, but definitely a big difference. Now this is titanium on the handle, whereas this is G10, but it does have some very thick steel liners. There is milling in there, believe it or not. And I guess you can believe it if you haven't ever picked one up before. But if you picked it up, you go, man, it feels like it's just solid steel. It's just very heavy. It's got a good balance, though. Balance point is right about here, right? That's really where your index finger is going to go. That's kind of where you want the balance to be on a knife. So it feels really good. Action's good. See, it makes this crazy sound when you catch it just right. This real clicky sound. Of course, you can't do it when you're trying, but there it is. So a lot of weight on that blade. The blade is M4 steel, which is high-speed tool steel. I'm not a steel snob, don't know tons about it, but I did look it up. It's supposed to have really good toughness and blade retention. I didn't see on Zero Tolerance's website the hardness, but I did kind of Google it, and I saw on some source, wherever it is, that's a 60 to 62, which isn't bad in general, but M4 apparently is able to be hardened up to like 64 to 65, 6, something like that. Pretty hard it could be. So, I don't know. It may be a little bit softer than optimal, but you'd have to talk to somebody who really knows what they're talking about. And that's not me. It's got the Duralock. This seems odd because I don't know that I've ever seen a zero tolerance, but I am not the expert on zero tolerance knives. Kind of ignored them recently. Always heard people talk in like remembrance of when they were great. It's up to the individual person to say. But this is kind of a throwback, right? Because everybody's saying, well, finally they came out with something big. And I'm just happy that the thumb studs work for flicking the knife open. Because there is no flipper on this one, whereas this one is flipper only. Nothing wrong with a flipper. It gets the job done, but something about that middle finger flick for me, it makes a difference. It's got some nice G10, nice milling on there. Looks good. G10 is kind of falling out of favor. It's a good, strong material, but I mean, carbon fibers with all the different colors, and even on micarta, for me, I really like. Excuse me. I like a good micarta handle. Yeah, but yeah, G10, it was common, I think, on a lot of the ZT knives. Yeah, I'm not trying to, talk that much about ZT because I don't know that much. I do have this one that I've been looking at for a while. It's actually on Amazon. It's the 0308, and it seems like one of the few big ones that you can get new anymore. And I'm looking right now at $237, not too bad. Whereas this one's almost $300. But then you are talking about M4. There is the Duralock thing, and the Duralock works really well on this. I mean, it just, sometimes it's just hard, but the way these tabs are, it makes it easy for me to actuate. I like that. A little worried about, because I am enjoying flicking this thing in and out. A little worried about the Omega springs, but that is one of the downsides. But it is very fidgety for such a big knife. I was gonna, do my regular size comparisons, but I just don't think it's gonna really be appropriate for a monster like this. So we got the monster comparison here. We got the Sheepdog XL, and that's pretty darn close. The Sheepdog may edge it out just tiny bit. We got the Yojumbo. That's a fun one. Earlier in my collecting, the big knives were really the focus. I've kind of gone away from them a little bit, but I still have a love for it. Absolutely. But this is just fitting right in with some of the bigger knives. Did that cold steel video recently, my collection of cold steels, and there's the 8010. Big knife. We know the 8010 is a big knife, but this 0203 is actually beating it out a little bit. And then the monster, well, at least in my collection, I know there's bigger ones, much bigger cold steels, but the Max 4 Max, it is a little bit bigger. So there's at least one other in my collection that's a little bit bigger, but the 4 Max Scout is definitely a not full size, oversized. Let's say oversized. And if you look at it, these are a little bit bigger this way. Let's get the 4 Max out again. Certainly taller at the tallest part. So this one kind of has more of the what would you call it? Ratio wise, more like a regular size knife. But still, it's quite large, and heavy. Let's go ahead and get the scale out. I did this, like I said, I'm redoing. It's very rare for me to redo a video, but I just didn't feel. Certainly, more recently, I just kind of turn it on and go. 6.6 ounces. So yeah, that's pretty heavy. I think my proponent. From Arts and Cutlery, that with the copper scales might be heavier. Not copper, brass scales might be heavier than this, but for a steel liner knife, that's pretty impressive. I think the thickness of the blade stock. Oh, you gotta turn it on, guy. Come on, don't want to have to do this again. It's about 0562. Right around in that area. It's probably what they started out with. So what's that? That's like, I was trying to do the math on that. I think it's 532nds. Because 1/8 would be 4/32. Oh gosh. Anyway, 1.1562, 5/32, right? I don't know. Like I was saying earlier, my brain kind of shuts off for the weekend. So I love the action. I love the sound of this knife. It just really swings down. Big heavy blade. Feels good in the hand. Nice, plenty of size there. You can do left or right on the clip. I like the tabs because that makes it easier, like I said. I like the thumb studs. Got some grip to them. A little bit of jimping here. I mean, hardly even enough to say anything about it. It's a little bit of a thumb ramp. And then you got, if you want to get up here, you got a little thumb divot to, get some force behind the cut. The clip, I mean, you can feel it a little bit, but it's a big knife. The handle on this thing is like 0.69. I mean, that's up there. That's almost like close to 3/4 of an inch. 5/8. It's very thick, so it fills the hand. I mean, if you got a big hand and other knives kind of feel like they get lost in there in your grip, this one's not going to have that problem. It's not super tall this way. I think it's probably closer to like 1 inch here. Yeah, 1 inch here. So it's almost like, still feels like you can index it really well. I like the balance point on this thing because it's like right there on the index where your index finger would normally be. Right there. So it makes it feel really good in the hand. So even with the weight, if you got a good balanced knife, it still feels good. So it's not sliciest. Behind the edge, as best I can measure, it's about 0.03. So that's maybe about, twice as much as the ones that are super slicey. It doesn't feel super, yeah, it does. It does. I guess we can try cutting paper with this thing. Because I know that it's really sharp. Grab some. Pardon me for a minute. All right. Let's see how sharp it is. Yeah, see, even with that thickness behind the edge, it's still cutting really, really well. Just sliding right through there. M4 steel is supposed to be, good for keeping that edge, but it's probably going to be pretty hard to sharpen because it's such a hard steel. It's got lots of toughness. So, but that's what you want for a big knife like this. This is something that if you're going to go out and you're working where you think you might have to do something, more serious with a knife, camping, certainly would take this camping. It would be good for that. I'm really happy about it. I mean, it's really making me think more about ZT. We'll see over the long run if I end up adding some more ZT knives to the collection. But just wanted to show it to you guys, and enough talking. Thanks for watching. I think this one went a little bit better than last time, at least. So you guys have a good one. I will see you on the next one. Bye.